the growth story behind Fulshear, Texas. And Fulshear is no longer a hidden gem on the west side of Houston. It's rapidly becoming one of the most talked about growth markets in Texas for commercial real estate investors, developers, business owners, and families looking for opportunity. And over the past decade, Fulshear has transformed from a quiet rural community into one of the fastest growing cities in America. Massive population growth, new residential developments, expanding infrastructure, and rising household incomes are reshaping the local economy, and commercial real estate is following closely behind. So, for investors paying attention right now, this is the type of market transition that can create long term wealth opportunities. So, let's talk about Fulshear's population explosion. And few cities in Texas have experienced the type of meteoric growth Fulshear has seen. And Fulshear's population has surged from roughly 2,300 residents in 2014 to nearly 27,000 by 23. And that level of expansion is extraordinary and reflects a broader migration trend occurring across the Houston metro area. So, why are people moving to Fulshear? Well, several key factors are really what's driving demand. And highly rated schools is the top of the list, but there's master planned communities, there's larger homes, and there's land opportunities, and there's relative affordability compared to Houston's inner loop, with strong quality of life and access to the energy corridor and Katy employment centers. But also there's continued business expansion westward. And as more families relocate to the area, the demand for retail, for medical, for office, industrial, and mixed use commercial properties continues increasing. So, commercial real estate is following rooftops. And one of the most important principles in commercial real estate is this is that retail follows rooftops, but great retail will follow the disposable income brought by those rooftops. So Fulshear is attracting higher income households, which creates stronger spending power and supports more sustainable, long-term commercial growth. So we're seeing national retailers, restaurants, healthcare providers, and service businesses aggressively expanding westward to capture this growing consumer base. And developments throughout the Fulshear corridor are beginning to include grocery anchored retail centers, medical office projects, mixed use developments, restaurant and entertainment concepts, industrial and service flex properties, but also build to rent housing communities. And this creates opportunities for investors seeking appreciation, for business owners looking to secure locations early, or for developers searching for growth corridors or 1031 exchange buyers looking to reposition some capital, or for simply just owner users wanting to control their occupancy costs. And the master planned communities are fueling the demand. So communities like Cross Creek Ranch or Jordan Ranch or Fullbrook and Tamaron have dramatically accelerated residential development throughout the region. And as these neighborhoods mature, they'll create secondary demand for more schools, more restaurants, more medical clinics, more daycares, more gyms, more retail shopping, financial services, and logistics and contractor services. And commercial real estate demand often lags residential growth initially, and that delay can create a major opportunity for investors who move early before pricing fully catches up. So let's talk about infrastructure and transportation and why they matter. And infrastructure investment is one of the biggest drivers behind long-term commercial real estate growth. The continued expansion of the West Park Tollway, but also FM 1093, also known as Westheimer, but Grand Parkway 99 and the Interstate 10 corridor. These have all significantly improved the connectivity between Fulshear, Katy, and the broader Houston metro area. And improved transportation access makes the area increasingly attractive for industrial distribution or service companies or construction firms or healthcare expansion, but also regional retail operators. And this is especially important as Houston continues expanding westward. So let's talk about healthcare and medical growth. And healthcare expansion is becoming another major commercial growth driver in Fulshear. And as population density rises, medical providers are racing to establish locations closer to their patients. And some of those can include primary care clinics or dental offices or urgent care facilities or physical therapy centers or specialty healthcare providers. And medical office real estate often becomes one of the most stable asset classes in rapidly growing suburban markets because healthcare demands tends to remain resilient across good and bad economic cycles. So let's talk about land and development opportunities. And one of the biggest reasons investors are closely watching Fulshear is the land. As developable land becomes scarcer and more expensive closer to central Houston, developers are increasingly targeting outer growth corridors where long-term appreciation potential remains strong. And land investors are focusing on retail pad sites, multifamily development tracts, industrial land, but mixed-use projects and residential development opportunities. And the challenge is timing. And markets like Fulshear can experience rapid appreciation once infrastructure and population growth hit critical mass. So let's talk about why investors are watching Fulshear closely. And the best commercial real estate opportunities are often found before a market becomes fully mature. And Fulshear still offers many characteristics that investors look for: rapid population growth, expanding infrastructure, and rising household incomes, but also business migration and residential development momentum, but also increasing retail demand, which all creates long-term appreciation potential for all of the above. And this does not mean that every deal automatically works. And investors still need to analyze traffic patterns and utility access, floodplain considerations, but also future competition and tenant demand, and look at their exit strategy and financing structure. But the broader macro trend is becoming difficult to ignore. So, final thoughts for the day is Fulshear represents one of the strongest suburban growth stories in Texas today. And as Houston continues expanding westward, the city is evolving from a residential growth market into a major commercial real estate opportunity corridor. And for investors, for developers, for business owners, and commercial property users, the next several years could create substantial opportunities for those who are positioned early. And the key is understanding where growth is happening before everyone else fully recognizes it and sees it. Because in commercial real estate, timing and positioning often matter just as much as the property itself. And that, my friends, is it for the day. Please visit my website, HoustonRealEstateBrokerage.com. You can schedule a consultation there, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Take care.